how important is it for you to work with different personality types and to then kind of see those strengths?
It's really important because I think if we didn't have different personalities in our teams, it would just be a replica. You wouldn't want like 50 of me because we'd all be thinking the same thing and we wouldn't think objectively. You do need people that are perhaps a little bit more pragmatic. You do need people that are perhaps a little bit more challenging, just to sort of test ideas out and to get the best out of a project. So you don't, when you're recruiting staff, you don't want to go and recruit the same person as you. You want to go and recruit somebody who's slightly different, that can bring different traits, attributes, strengths, etc. to your project. And that's why it's so important for managers, so line managers, leaders, supervisors, to get to know their team really, really well, to do something like discovery insights, to get to understand what makes each person in that team tick. And in terms of mental health and well-being, that is an absolute lifeline, because you get to understand how people will respond to different situations, how communications will land, and it will help you as a manager deliver what you need to deliver.
How would you then kind of lead somebody who's maybe kind of more on the fiery red to then be more earth green?
I think it's good when you can delegate and you can delegate different tasks to people, because that can really play on their strengths. But if somebody was being quite challenging, so quite fiery red, for example, like you said, I'd probably just ask them to take a step back and think, how would that impact, or how would they feel if that happened to their son, their daughter, their family member? So to try and think of things from a different perspective. We've got different personalities like that in the team, actually. And I think we feel so comfortable with each other that we can sort of not call that out, but at least say, oh, but have you thought about this? To offer some different suggestions.
And when you're working with people that are that kind of well, you stick with that language, a fiery red, what value do they bring to collaborating with you?
I think they bring a different energy, and I can absolutely see the benefits of having fiery red, the cool blue, all of that. I think sometimes, especially if you're yellow or green, you have to stop yourself and not take it as a personal insult. With those sort of characteristics, I think it's just about being self-aware. Self-awareness is really, really important, and recognising how that person impacts on you, what it triggers in you, and then do that work about yourself in a little bit more detail. Because it's not saying that one's right, one's wrong, it's just they're very different. And sometimes when you can clash, especially, the softer skills against the more realistic and ambitious and perhaps democratic styles, they can often clash. But it's about recognising each of your strengths and areas and vulnerabilities as well.